Alright guys, welcome back. Papa Pepper here. Today I'm going to be looking through some comments because recently some of our viewers and subscribers became concerned about a couple things, and they had some questions that I want to address, both for their sake, but also from looking at it, it seems a lot of people are kind of thinking the same thing. So I'll just pop the words up on the screen of their actual comment, give it a voiceover, and then respond to each one. And hopefully this will answer some of your questions, and it'll definitely deal with some of their issues and concerns. As always, I do appreciate the interaction that you guys provide. I know I'm kind of putting our life out there in a way a lot of people wouldn't even be comfortable with. And with the good positive things that come from it, there also is a chance for negative. I've had some really hurtful comments over the years, but the good that comes of it far outweighs any of that stuff. So I thank you guys for that. Here we go. So Xavier Hope Thomas, Wounded Soul Refuge, said, I see two concerns. First, have you put a bunch of support under the floor, reinforced concrete on the ground with vertical supports under your floor? You are adding a lot of weight, and manufactured homes are not made to hold all that weight. The second thing I see as a concern is carpet is really flammable. One little spark and it's on fire. You will want either some more rocks surrounding your base or something other than carpet for at least 18 inches from the base of the wood stove. So yes, for Xavier Hope Thomas, we did put some support underneath there. I went down there sometime at the end of last fall, maybe beginning of last winter, and made sure to have some really good stacks of stuff to support the weight. So I'd pretty much have direct kind of contact, direct support from the top all the way down. And the flammable carpet, yes, that's a very good point. We are going to be coming out farther, as I talked about in my last video, where I was really had my heart broke, was really disappointed. And I do thank you everyone for all the encouragement on that. It was hard for me for a moment. I got over it, but when it happened, my heart really sank, and it was something I struggled with for a moment. So I kind of, openly threw that out there for you guys. So we are going to be coming out a little bit farther with the stone for sure. And then the other thing is, many people commented on the video where I was talking about doing that, and mentioned kind of flame retardant carpet or rugs. So that's going to be something we're going to look into as well. Maybe just having something there that would act as an added barrier. So I definitely appreciate that. Jackie Patterson commented, what a bright, cheerful, energetic, cooperative, competent work crew you are raising. The stonework is looking beautiful. Please do remind us the steps you took a while back to provide support under the house for the wood stove weight. I also seem to recall you did this, but a little reassurance will be appreciated. So Jackie Patterson also commented with the same thing about the support. And what I'll do is I'll show you a little bit of the video where we actually did that right now, just so you guys can see some of the things, not the whole thing, but some of the things that we did to take care of that. Look at that. It don't look like much, but boy, did it take some effort. And she was looking for some, reassurance. We're going to give her that in that video that we show. She'll be able to see it without having to look for it herself. And I do appreciate the compliment there when you said, what a bright, cheerful, energetic, cooperative, competent work crew you are raising. We do put a lot of investment into our family. They're one of our most important things that we're up to. And, they are children. They are young. So sometimes, like in the video where they messed up some of that grout, some of the scratch coat, yeah, accidents happen. But yes, overall, they are a wonderful, wonderful family to be around, wonderful children, and they're eager to get involved and to help. So that really goes a long way. Teresa Rogers commented, so you are further ahead on the installation than you led on in your last video. The rock is going to look very nice. Arkansas gives a lot of rocks for use, huh? What type of stovepipe are you working with? Double wall? And Teresa, yeah, you know what? When I made that video about my top 3 priorities, I kind of did that one day, and then I uploaded it, and almost all of that work to get to where I was in that first wood stove, video on it about my top priority was done like that day or the next day. So I wasn't really farther along than I let on. We just did a ton of work in a short amount of time. Could have done a lot more, but my options were limited, to go out and work during the day, come home, and then work on that for some hours. So that's where I was at on that. And yes, you know what? That's a good point too about the rocks that you bring up. Arkansas does give us a lot of rocks, and I point out to people, I could sit there and whine and complain and be like, oh, there's just so many rocks on my property, and I could just complain about all these blessings, all these free sources, all these virtually indestructible building materials and useful things that I have on my property that I can use. So many people have that attitude, but I would rather just look at it as a free source and be like, wow, what can I do with this? Like, look at this great thing I have. And as I travel around and see different people too, like even down in Louisiana at Reap What You Sow, they were like, oh man, they wish they would have some rocks like that somewhere, so that's pretty cool. And I do believe I have some stovepipe that the people who gave me the wood stove also gave me at the time. It's a double walled one. And if for some reason it doesn't work out, that's what I will be getting. I will source from somewhere else a nice double-walled stovepipe to go through the roof of the building with that. So thank you very much for your question. Hopefully that answers it. And yeah. So Heathdie commented, I've done 100 or more of these as a mason over the year. Any questions that I can help with? Just ask. The mesh needs to be the right way so it'll help hold the stone on the wall. So Heathdie, absolutely appreciate this guy. Definitely do. Really good encouraging comments, good insight on stuff. If I have any questions, I will definitely ask. I appreciate everything that you offer up. And you're correct on the mesh. And thank you for saying so. So the mesh is like metal that's been cut and then stretched, and it's at an angle, so there's kind of like a down cup where part of it's kind of heading down, and if you put it the other way, then it's kind of heading, rather than being something you can kind of fill, it's something that's more dumping out. So you can put it up this way or down this way or over this way or back over this way. There's 4 different ways on one face, and then you could flip it too, which really is about the same thing, but there's a proper way to have it. And I thank you for pointing that out. I may show it a little better when I put it up the right way on the back wall as I continue this project. Anytime you guys see me where I do not mention something like that and I'm doing something, number 1, I may be ignorant about it, or 2, it may be something that's worthwhile to mention that I just didn't. So please feel free to kindly and gently mention that in the comment section. And then either A, you'll clue me in, or B, it'll be there for everyone to see in case they're looking at the video for some sort of advice or, problem-solving insight or something like that. Then they can see that comment and be like, oh, okay, there's a right way to do that. So when I put the back up, the big section of the back, I'll make sure, or I'll try to cover that, mention that, and show that. And, on the ground level where it's flat, running parallel to the ground, that doesn't really matter. But when you're going perpendicular, when you're going up and down, that's when it comes in more. And also, when I made my grout lines, my scratch coat, my guys sticking out, I actually ran them vertical. And Nanny from Hootenanny Homestead, who gave me a good pep talk in the comment section when my heart sank and I was disappointed, she mentioned as well, run your grout lines, your scratch coat, horizontal, because that'll help hold the stone on better. So I do not have it that way for the 11 inches and the 11 1/4 inches that I'm going upright on the part that I have. I think it'll still be fine for there, but when I do the big section, which is going to be 3 feet wide, I've got 2 3-foot wide sections I plan on doing. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to make sure, as Heathdie mentioned here, to run my mesh the right way. And then as Nanny from Hootenanny Homestead mentioned, I'm going to make sure to put my lines the right way on my scratch coat. Joanne Gannon commented, hot coals tend to bounce, so make sure you close up the holes down front between the rocks, okay? Good little helpers. Happy birthday, little one. Have a lovely Thanksgiving. Jojo in Vermont. So Joanne Gannon was another one talking about watching the coals, and I will close up the holes in front between the rocks. That'll, they'll have the underlayment of concrete, basically, and I'll have grout filled in between. It's gonna be the same stuff, but I'll fill in between the rocks. We are bringing that out a little bit, and then, like I said too, we'll probably also look into some flame retardant rugs, just to help with the issue. And thank you for the birthday wishes for the little pepper. Hope you had a Thanksgiving too. And yes, we do have good helping little peppers for sure. Armida Perez commented, will the electrical melt with heat? So the electrical, I believe at this point, is going to be far enough away that it will not, because at that point it's going to be quite a distance from the stove. But I will keep an eye on it. A couple things I can do is I can just remove that outlet altogether, or I can further distance it from the stove. So whichever one I need to do, I'll be keeping an eye on that, looking into it, and removing it if I need to, or just moving it if I have to. And Nowhere Nan said, I have a question with all the weight on this floor. You may have addressed this in a previous video. Anyhow, do you have any kind of base or whatever under the floor in the crawl space? It's looking great inside. I love the rocks. You have a terrific work crew, by the way. And that's Nowhere Nan. 3 people really mentioned the same thing on this video comment section, and I put them all here. Sometimes if you point to somebody's comment, then you get somebody else who comes along and says, hey, I said that too. Like, how come my comment wasn't good enough to point out, but you feel like pointing their comment out when I said the same thing even an hour before them or something? I rolled the footage of that earlier. Hopefully that helps you. And we do also love the way that those rocks look. It's such a cool free resource, and looking forward to how this comes together. And thank you for the compliment on the terrific work crew as well. So guys, those are some of the comments and concerns that some of our viewers had. There's a lot we got going on. As I said, a lot of things are brand new to me. A lot of stuff is stuff that I don't really have experience with. We just got to do it because this is the path we're on. This is the way we're choosing to live our life, and we're trying to do it frugally. So that requires us doing a lot of it ourselves, a lot of learning, and a lot of new experiences for us. And thank you all for coming along for the ride. As always, leave comments, and comments definitely encourage us. That goes a long way, a lot of days, like you guys don't even know. And again, we're not beyond mistakes. We're not beyond ignorance and just being unaware of things. So feel free to kindly leave any helpful comments that you think we might need to hear, or any advice you think that would be worthwhile. Definitely appreciate it. And if you guys got concerns, trust me, they could be very valid, and they might just be off our radar. So feel free. Put them in the comment section on the videos that raise concerns, and we'll deal with them when we get there. So appreciate it. We'll see you next time. Papa out.